Hey folks, it's been a couple of weeks since the last video. So in that time I've had a couple sets of days off and I've been working on the project. I just haven't taken the time to really do any videoing. But here we are now, I'm gonna throw some video together. I'm gonna jump back right now to 2 weeks ago where I got a little bit of footage of doing some sanding on the fenders and a little bit of the primer and sealer stuff. So I'll go back into that and kind of get you up to speed to where I'm at right now. Well, as you can see, getting that old paint stripped off of there was quite a process. I'm sure using a sandblaster or something along those lines would have been a lot quicker. I just went ahead and grabbed the DA and some 60 grit and got busy, followed it up with a little bit of 80 grit. And even though it took me most of the day, I still had plenty of time to get them in the booth, get them cleaned up, get them in primer. And then yesterday, I took most of the day and got the fenders block sanded out once and the doors block sanded out one time. And still had time to get them in the booth and get them back in primer last night. So here I am today, I'm blocking out the fenders for the second time. It's not a lot of surface area, so it doesn't take too long to block it out. I'll get these blocked out the second time. Hopefully I'll have time today that I can block out the doors. And then other than scuffing the interior and blocking out the cab the one time, it should be pretty close to ready for paint for maybe next days off, I hope. Well, that's about enough sanding for today. Both front fenders, both doors, they're blocked down to 400. That means they're pretty much ready for paint. Just gotta finish knocking down the rest of the cab and the interior, and it'll be ready for shooting some color on it. That'll be a pretty big milestone for this project. I'll be glad when the bodywork is all done. The days off following the torque converter swap and getting those front fenders in primer was focusing solely on getting color on that cab. I continued on with the cab and the front fenders, getting them both in color. I spent 4 long days on that project and I didn't get a stitch of video doing any of it. I did take a couple of pictures, I'll post them up right now and then we'll come back and continue on with what I was doing. With color on the cab doors and fenders, I decided to go ahead and get those put back on the chassis before continuing on with the bed sides of the hood, simply just to free up some real estate. Now to get the cab back on the chassis, I went ahead and mounted a winch right there on my lift. So now I can pick the cab up with that, back the truck underneath of it, and with the assistance of my wife and my daughter, we were able to actually put it on there relatively easily. All right, you're being filmed. Act accordingly. You ready?
Yep. Hold it nice. It's not even moving, babe. Go back.
Okay. Let's see if I can get out of here.
Huh?
See if I can get out of here.
Right?
As you can see in that last clip, I went ahead and threw the transport tires on the truck so that I knew I would have enough clearance to back underneath that cab while it was lifted up to the roof of the shop. Everything went really smooth with getting the cab in place, a little bit of masking tape to protect the powder coat, make sure everything, I wasn't dragging tin work down tube work. Everything went really good. Once the cab was bolted back in place, I moved the truck back around to the other side of the shop where my wife and I got the windshield installed. And with the small tires on it, everything sitting lower, it was just a good opportunity to go through and get tin work, finish the floor tin work, bolt the fenders on, get some of the grill parts on, set the hood in place with the, so I could get everything lined up on the front end. So I'll flip you around and show you where we're at now. This is actually the original windshield out of this cab. Just been sitting on a shelf waiting to go back in. Brand new weather stripping, new sill plates. Finally got to bolt in the rest of the firewall. And the tin work on the dash is all done up. So other than door panels, the interior is pretty much buttoned up. The rest of the windows will be Lexan when I get to that point. There's still plenty of work to do on this project. Thanks for watching and have a good one.